time we are going to be talking about real deals. The real deals, as you can see in the corner of the bottom, 8-figure property deals. Now, some people, they might even think, oh, straight away, well, that's not for me, I'm not able to do it. Well, stay tuned during this episode, because you're going to see and hear all the ins and outs of what you're going to need to consider before you make that decision of whether it's for you or not. So before I introduce you to our awesome guest on the panel this evening, what you need to do is you need to start tagging people. You need to start tagging people, and you need to share it. So we've got some things to give away. Who likes? Put in the comments if you like free gifts of any type. Free gifts. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Because I tell you what, number one, here's number one gift for you. To enter, all you need to do to enter for all of these prizes we're going to give you tonight, all you need to do is, number one, share this feed right now on your feed. The second thing you need to do is you need to tag at least 10 people. Now, if you're in the Real Life Tribe, you need to tag 10 people in the tribe and 10 people out the tribe. Yeah. Then at the end of this show, the person who has done that, we're going to pick the person at random, and then they will get a chance to win some real life merchandise. So it could be phone case, it could be t-shirts, hoodies. The hoodies are flying off the shelves. I know it's cold, maybe that's what it is. We've got trousers, there's blankets, there's cups, there's all sorts of different types of things. T-shirts, kid t-shirts. The kids are loving the t-shirts. Yeah, so that's all you need to do. And first of all, let me invite or welcome back our awesome guest, John Howard, today. Thank you so much for coming back, John. We must have done something right last time.
You definitely did something right, Mark. I'm a fan of yours, as you know, and I'm here. So I've made it. It was a bit touch and go at one point on the M6, but I made it.
Yeah, well, you made it in better time than you did on your first attempt.
Yeah, well, that had a bit of a technology problem. So anybody who knows me well knows not to try to get me to do something I've never done before, technology-wise, because it won't happen. So yeah. Anyway, I practiced to get on this all weekend, so I'm on. So that's good.
We're on here. So Trisha, start sharing it in all those wonderful places. Wherever you're watching this, tell us where you are as well, because we know we're going super international now. We've got people all over the world that are participating in the trainings and wanting to be part of the tribe and are part of the tribe all across Europe, even as far as Canada one way, Dubai the other way. So yeah, super international. Australia, we're coming for you. Don't worry. Yeah, so here's the next prize. By the way, so you need to know a little bit about John. John, hence the title here, 8-figure property deals. So we're going to be talking about 8-figure property deals. John has just finished one. Well, I say it's just finished. Been going for a while. It's in Ipswich, right?
Yeah. 27 million project, 150 flats. We finished it about this time last year, actually. About March, April time. And the sales are going. Thank you for asking. The sales are going very well, Mark.
Yeah, good. So we're going to be talking all about how to get something like this rocking and rolling, what it would be. So we've got people cold Buckinghamshire, not very exotic. Well, kind of is. So that's good. So let us know where you're watching this, and also share it on your timeline and tag 10 people. Just go ahead and do that. You're going to be in for winning a prize at the end. Also, when you do that, there is an extra gift this week. So if you do the sharing and the tagging, and then you guess which chain, you only need to guess the chain of hotels that John is staying in right now. While he's
shall I give him a clue? It's not
not yet. It's made of brick. It's made of. It's got a reception. Okay, that's your.
It's got a reception. Yeah, it's got a reception. Yeah.
So if you also guess, you will not only be in with a chance to win some real life merchandise, but what else are you going to win, John?
I've written 3 books. Buying and selling and developing for newcomers, auctions, buying, selling, auction, and advanced property developing. And all 3 books I will send to the person who Mark decides has won.
Yes, look at that. 3 books from John himself, all around buying in auctions and also developing, even as a newcomer, as a newbie, whatever, as a beginner, whatever you want to call it, and then advanced. Everyone loves that word. Put me straight in at the advanced, everybody says. Yeah. So
That's so easy.
So that's what we're going to do. That's the prizes. So make sure that you keep sharing. Yeah, Lewis, keep tagging. Richard, come on, tag. Let's get some people going. Lee, awesome that you started tagging. Thank you so much. Damien, make sure you keep tagging as well. So let's start this off, John. Because we had, a couple of people, and I've heard it many times. So let's have your input on what's this whole thing around. It's the same effort to do a small deal with small profits as it is to do a big deal with big profit. What's your take on that?
Okay. Well, number of things to say there. First of all, Mark, they're right in a way, because let me give you an example, because lots of people talk about everything, Mark, but actually not that many people have walked the walk. Yeah. So I do small deals a lot of the time. So small deals from, say, 200,000 purchase through to, say, £1 million. I do plenty of those deals. And now with my joint ventures that I'll talk to you about later on I'm doing even more. So when it's a small deal, you have to really get your hands dirty, as I call it. So, for instance, on a small deal, you don't need a consultant. You don't need, you may not need a surveyor. You may not need a QS. You may not need, all sorts of different advisors. When you do a scheme, say, like the wine rack on the waterfront in Ipswich, when you're borrowing the money from the government, so that's pretty serious, because when you're borrowing money from a large organization, be it the government or be it any large organization, you have to have the advisors that they're going to take seriously. So it's no good rocking up saying, I want to do this deal, it's £5 million, and I'm buying it 5 million, I'm spending 10 million on it, and it's going to be worth 20 million. And you say, well, who are your advisors? And they go, well, Joe from down the road's helping me, and it's just a joke. No one's going to take you seriously. So you need a team of advisors, and this team of advisors will be quantity surveyors, building surveyors, structural engineers. They all need to be paid. Architects, of course. But they form the team, and actually they spoil you. So when you have a team like that round you, like I had for the wine rack, for instance, everything's done for you, and they're even quite pleasant and polite to you as well, which is mind you, you're paying them the money. I mean, for instance, Mark, the advisors and consultants on the wine racks in total was £650,000 we spent on advisors and consultants, and we had to spend it. You can't not get around it. One of the reasons you need to spend that money, apart from no one will lend you any money if you don't, it is because they also underwrite the building. So their insurance policies they have, say an architect might have a small architect might have a 1 million insurance policy. If something goes wrong with their design, you could sue them. They've perhaps got a 1 million, 2 million policy. These architects that use on the bigger schemes might have a 20 million policy or 30 million policy. And so may the team of structural engineers you use. So that way, whoever's lending you the money knows that if it goes wrong, they've got someone to sue. And that is, so you're part of the money, part of the fees you're paying is because they've got a big insurance policy behind them. And if it goes wrong, they know they'll be sued. So you're hoping that doesn't happen, of course, but it's quite nice to know that if it does, it's not just your fault. Hopefully.
So what you're saying is, John, what you're saying is to get in the game. I'm seeing this as a great positive here.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, one of the things that keep people small is they want to do it by themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
And building a team is one of the things that people procrastinate about the most. So what you're saying is, in this game, if you want to do 8-figure property deals, it forces you to build that team and have that team around you.
It does, absolutely. It absolutely does. And you need to be a delegator. If you're not a delegator, you're never going to grow anything. Because if you want to do everything yourself, that's not possible. I've got numerous property companies and different businesses, different properties and different property companies and property businesses. I can't, if I didn't delegate, what do? I can't as it is now, I'm flat out. I'm up here in Liverpool today, looking at a joint venture project I'm doing with someone tomorrow, and then I'm back down to Oldham, Birmingham, Cambridge, and home. And that's just one day. So how on earth could I be doing everything? I can't. So I get this. I'll tell you what I do, Mark. I get the plate spinning. Okay, I spin a plate. I then start another plate. I spin that. You've seen them on in circuses. I'm like a circus. I'm like someone at the circus. I'm spinning 3 plates, and as they start to wobble, I spend a bit more time on that because there's a problem, and I get it sorted. So constantly I'm spinning plates, keeping it all together, keeping everyone, driving everyone forward, keeping everyone motivated. But you remember, all of you out there, you've got to be the captain of the ship. You've got to be the captain. Even you've got all these consultants, you've got to be the captain. And I spoke at Coventry University just over a year ago, and it was full of architects, potential architects, training to be architects, building surveyors, all professional people who wanted to get qualified in a professional way. And I asked, I said, who wants to be a property developer here? And there was about 70 people. One person sheepishly put his hand up. And I said to him, what's your name? He said his name was Michael. I said, Michael, look round you. Look round you. All these professionals here who are going to qualify, they're going to have a nice house, 5-bedroom house, they're going to have a lovely job, they're going to have a safe little life. They're all going to end up working for you because you're the property developer. You're the captain of the ship. And while they're slogging away doing a report for you, you're going to be in Barbados or Bermuda with your beautiful wife and your children, or whoever you want. They're not. They're going to be at home doing the work for you.
Yeah, and here's the thing, what I think is misunderstood about entrepreneurship or going into business or owning a business, and even people who work in a business, because by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But
no, not at all.
I tell you, the big problem that is when people work in a business is the fact that not delegating and want to hold on, because there's this whole thing around management and a manager, because there's difference. You got a manager and you got a leader. Yeah, a manager will never have anyone in their team become better than them.
No,
they just won't. Leaders, they
won't, Mark. And the one thing, the one thing I've got, hopefully, my wife says I've got one talent, and that's dogged determination. But I think I've got another talent. And my other talent is picking people who are brighter and better than me and surrounding myself with the best people I can find. And if they're brighter and come up with better ideas, of course, if they come up with better ideas than mine, they're my ideas in the end. Yeah, I claim them. And if they end up bad ideas, they're their ideas. But at the end of the day, surround yourself with the best people you can afford. The difference between the difference between paying someone, the difference between someone who's average to someone who's very good is very little. Always spend the most you can on your consultants, on your advisors, and surround yourself with the very best people, because they will make you money and they will save you money and stop you getting into trouble.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the management of a job or the construction, a team, the resources that are going to go into it.
Mark, the only difference,
the facilities afterwards, all of that stuff is, I see so many people, we call it, well, this was the phrase that woke me up, John. A guy I was in business with, he told me this, and he said, it's funny because he was this guy, but he said, a penny pincher is a pound loser. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it for a long time. And maybe why? Huh?
You do now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love paying people money. End of the month, I love seeing all that money go out. And people think that's weird. Or like, why would you get excited about paying people money? It's because, more money I pay, I know is for a better result. It's an investment. It's not paying money. I'm investing the money. Whether it's a team member, whether it's, a builder, whether it's a business, whatever it is. So let's just go back to this thing that stops people, because, this whole thing, what you're saying, you get the people, you got to pay that money, which really you're making that investment. So you're taking that level of risk. And obviously the level of risk is always different depending on what the situation is.
Yep.
But most people, they don't do it. And this is what I'm seeing, a trend. They don't do it because they don't feel that they're going to get a big enough share. Or they don't think, well, if I'm the person that's going to pull this deal together, I want to be having all the deal. You know, I can't be paying this person this money and that person, you know, that money. So they end up with nothing anyway.
Nothing. But what I would say, what you got to remember is you've got to look after everyone else before you. Everyone on your team you've got to look after. So if you do a deal, and it happens, and it's happened to me, where by the time you paid all your consultants and everyone on it, there's very little money for you. You know, they might have earned more than me deal. Now, that's whose fault is that? I'm the captain. I shouldn't have done the deal in the first place. You could do a deal and turn over £10 million in sales and lose money. Or you can do a deal sometimes for 250,000 and make 250,000 pounds profit, 100% profit. So, you know, big isn't always the answer. But if you want to grow and be ambitious, surround yourself with the best people and make sure you're doing the right deals. Just, you know, I get people with my joint venture fund who come to me who have never done a deal before and want to start off buying a site for £5 million. Now, with my joint venture fund, they can do that because I put in the deposit, by the way. So they can do that and I share the profit 50-50 with them. But am I really going to do that with someone? These people are trying to, I call it, Mark, trying to get a hole in one. So they don't want to start off doing reasonable, sensible deals of building up. They want to do a hole in one. They want to start off near the top of the tree. And in reality, you need to build up to these deals because you build up your experience and you build up your credibility with the banks and everybody else. Yes, I can come in and with a joint venture and probably move you up a few stairs, a few lifts, if you like, quite quickly by being behind the deal and supporting and having my experience throughout the project. But you still, you know, you still can't go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 3 months.
Okay, John, I like this topic. So let's discuss this. So, because what do you think about, because is it the fact, or what would stop someone? Is it really the technical knowledge or the know-how, technically, how, you know, to pull off a project like that would stop them? I mean, is that essential?
I would say setting the deal up correctly is something that when I speak at my seminars and things, that's the one thing I notice that people don't often do right. So setting a deal up right in the first place to suit you. So like if you're playing a game of squash, anyone who's played squash out there knows that if you stand on the tee, you control the game on the tee. You can either way, you control the game and the other person you're playing is running around like a headless chicken. That's how you want to be in every deal. So when you agree a deal, it needs to be on your terms. You don't want to be dictated to by the seller. You want to try and dictate the speed you do the deal at, because you might need to get planning. You might want to have a property that you're selling in order to buy this one. So you need to control the deal. So you need to set that deal up correctly in the first place. So your solicitor is in control, not their solicitor in control. That's the first thing, because the next thing you need to do is do every check under the sun, the due diligence, before you sign on that dotted line. I've got one today. I won't say where it is, but it's down south. And the gentleman came on the email me and said, I'm ready. I've got to buy this piece of land for 6 houses. I've got to buy it in 2 weeks' time. I said, well, that's fine. We might be able to do a joint venture where we put up the deposit for you and so on. I said, have you done this? Have you checked the soils? Have you done soil tests? Have you got the contractors that have done a fixed price contract? No. Well, he's nowhere near ready to exchange contracts in 2 weeks' time, is he?
Yeah. So there's obviously certain amounts of due diligence that needs to be done. But again, as we were discussing earlier, doesn't it come down to being forced to build a team, or people procrastinate about building the team, who can actually bring in this expertise and this knowledge of all these little tick boxes and all these other pieces of criteria that needs to be done? Because what I would like to just put across so we can discuss because ultimately on this episode we're talking about 8-figure property deals. And put it in the comment. Put it in the comments. Number one, if you're watching it live, put it hashtag live so I know. And if you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay so we know. And what I would like to know is there anybody even interested or would like to move into doing 8-figure deals? So put it in the comments so we know, so we do a bit of market research. That's one side of it. And John, what I'm saying is, I know what you're talking about. Some people, they want to go from nothing 100 miles an hour. Now, I just want to put this on the table. That's me.
Congratulations.
But let me tell you my.
You've done it, Mark. That's the difference.
Yeah,
and not everyone's got the ability that you've got. That's what you got to remember.
Well, let's talk about the difference, because I've seen thousands of people all over the world in different aspects of personally growing, transformational work, because the business or the technical development is one side of it. Yeah. And you need to know enough you do. But really you need to know about how to pull the people together.
You need to know the right people.
Yeah. And you know the right people by, the experience.
And some experience, but you can find the right people by asking the right people, if you get my meaning.
Well, yeah, that's also true. And at the same time, I find the people by knowing what I'm interviewing, knowing who I'm asking for. Yeah. But is it going to be down to the technical knowledge that determines whether someone has to build up or whether they jump in at the deep end? Or would you say it comes down to the size of the person? Meaning like how much uncertainty can they take? What is the, people might call it appetite for risk. I don't want to put it on the risk, because I don't think it's all about that, whether it's this person's got appetite and this person hasn't. We're all taking the same risk. But their ability, think about this. You got someone who might do a buy-to-let type deal, and then you got someone who like Richard Branson, who's going to go and take on a train contract or take over a phone network. So what's that? I mean, come on. I mean, this guy didn't really know.
What I would say, Mark, is the difference between a big deal and a smaller deal is just the noughts. It's the same principle. Nothing else. Nothing changes. Whatever you've done doing a small deal and it's gone right and successful, and you've done your pre, your planning, and you've got it all sorted, you've organized, you're disciplined, all that is the same on a big deal. It's no different. In fact, it's probably slightly easier because you've got all the consultants advising you, because you haven't got when you start out. So actually it's easier. The difficulty is, if you I believe this, if you find a good enough deal, whether it's £100,000 deal or whether it's a 10-20 million pound deal, if that deal is good enough, you will find someone to fund it for you. You will find someone who will put the money up, back you. You'll find someone. And that person might be me with my joint venture fund, or it might be someone else, it might be someone, a relative, it could be anyone. But you will find someone. If that deal is good enough, you will find someone to fund it. The problem people have is they don't find good enough deals. So they don't get funded. If someone came to me tomorrow with a great deal with 40% net profit in it, even if I couldn't do it myself for some reason, I'll find someone else who can, because it's good enough to back. It's a bankable deal.
But what about, because finding good deals is not difficult. I mean, we train.
I've dedicated my last 40 years for finding good deals. And some deals I found are very good. I've lost money on occasions, and anybody who tells you that they're property developers and haven't lost a penny ever, I would suggest they're liars. The trick is to know when it's going wrong and to know what to do and how to get out of that situation. That's very important. And that is experience, to be fair.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's life, John, isn't it?
Well, you could argue that, absolutely. And it's about making sensible decisions at the right time, and the old saying, isn't it? Oh, you're just lucky you found the odd deal. And it's the old saying, is, I can't remember, you'll probably remember who said it, Mark. The harder I work, the luckier I get. I can't remember who said it. Someone will know.
Yeah,
Famous saying.
I think luck increases with the willingness to make the moves. You know,
I think yes, and I think it's an instinct. Being an entrepreneur is it's not about taking crazy risks. Like some people think being an entrepreneur, property entrepreneur, any entrepreneur, is all about taking that big chance and risking everything. And it's not always the case. In your career, you will come up with 4 or 5 opportunities where you can make big money. But to do that, sometimes you have to keep plodding on the deals that are, the sensible workman-like deals, and then the big deals come along. I remember Eddie Murphy being interviewed once, the famous film star, and he hadn't had a big hit film for a number of years, and then he was in Dreamgirls, if you remember. And he was interviewed, and they said, "Well, what have you been doing the last few years, Eddie? Because we haven't seen you on the, you haven't had a big. Have you not been working?" He said, "Yeah, I've been working. I've been paying the bills. Just because my films weren't smash hits doesn't mean I haven't been working." And that's also what you've got to remember. If the deal isn't there to do, if the big deal isn't there to do, what are you going to do? Nothing for 5 years till it turns up? No, you're going to be doing the steady deals, the deals that earn you decent money, that gives you a decent lifestyle. And when you do that, opportunities will rise. And if you're in the right position at the right time to take that opportunity, that's what it's about.
Yeah. What is this? One of the comments just made me laugh.
What's that?
He said, "Action taker, not action faker."
Absolutely. There's so many people that talk the talk, but they've got to walk the walk as well.
That is cool. So you're dead right, John. And there's endless stories. I mean, we could do episodes on all the stories of all the people that got knocked back so many times.
Yes.
And this is the thing that really, people fall short, because I think people, especially if you start looking into property and you research it, you're going to be bombarded by like all of this stuff, learn this, learn that, and all the rest of it. And that might be good, it might not be good, and who knows? It depends who the person is applying it as well. But one of the big differences is, or one of the things I see right now, is a golden time to take control of your own independence. Let's just call it that. You want to add financial into that, you can, financial independence, but really independence, because a lot is changing. We have not seen anything yet. The knock-on effect of what's going to go on in the economy, the industry, and how money works and all of that is just going to be insane compared to what people are used to seeing. So why are we talking about 8-figure property deals, or why are we talking about property deals at all? It's just one of the most solid, let's say, ways to be able to add value to so many people. Like, so many people get benefit of the value. So many companies, estate agents, letting agents, builders, all the professionals, the banks, the people that work in the banks, all the people, like us, who help people, people who write books, like all of this stuff. Yeah, maybe it's
true. Yeah, like, kitchen fitters, bathroom fitters, carpet fitters.
Yeah, it goes. The list goes on and on and on. And the suppliers, the materials, the merchants. I mean, it's crazy how many people benefit. Yeah, so that's what's one of the good things. And I always said, it's like Aladdin's cave. People look around and say, "Oh yeah, but there's so many people, I can't get deals because the competition is saturated," and all these kind of terms. Yeah, look, there is so much to do. And by the way, now, especially the way we devised, we train people, and we got people all over the world, to invest anywhere, with the right systems and the right people, like you said, and the teams. So now you're not even, people who used to want to invest across the road from where they live, because they didn't want to go too far. But now they've realized I can do it anywhere. I mean, we even got people who moved into Spain, and the people live in Sweden and Germany and Dubai and all over the place, who invest all over. So what I want to suggest to people is what we're saying here: to get into these deals or to get into something, you got to make a move that makes you a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that
outside your comfort, you need to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And for some people, that's easy. If you're outward going and so on, that's easy. For other people, it's not quite so easy.
But that's where the team comes in.
Absolutely, that's where you team and you're networking. You know, I try and meet someone new, not quite so easy now. Every day I meet a new contact. Every day I want to meet at least one. Now, of course, you know, being online now with LinkedIn, it's a lot easier to make to introduce yourself to a lot more. But you know, in the old days, I'd like to always try and meet one new person, and you'll be amazed how many people who you've met that you end up doing a deal with. You know, they might be buying off you, you might be buying off them, they might know someone. You know, it's all of this business the property business is about having as many contacts as you can and picking the genuine, decent, honest ones. And there's lots of us out there, and everybody is open to meeting new people. Well, they should be. If they're not, they're crackers.
Yeah, but also, John, because there's, you know, the whole culture, the whole society tends to want to have to prove the trust first. And there is an element of that. And I think that's why you said the connections, the people you know, is so important. And that's why I think a community is so important.
Very important, and because it can support you. And when I started, 40 years ago, there was no community or anything else. There was no way of contacting anyone really. It was a much more lonely experience, if you like. But contacts, like you said, and support, it's mental support as well as every other type of property support is really important. And people like-minded people. So if there's a whole load of you, together, all helping, all networking, helping each other, because I get offered deals that don't suit me because it's not the sort of thing I do. But I've got lots of friends who do different types of deals. Pick the phone up to them, earn yourself a fee, finder's fee. That's what it's about. I still earn finder's fees if I can. I love earning a finder's fee if I can. Nothing better.
Yeah, and what you just said is key there about community. But I'll tell you one thing that people find it difficult. It's a community that's actively pursuing the results, actively delivering results, because there's a lot of cul-de-sacs or places where people congregate, where it's just a lot of people who are not really, doing very much or getting very far. And I'm not putting anyone down. I'm not saying anything different. Other than helping people realize where you got to go. You got to go. And look, I will not do business or be in business with anyone who does not actively participate in not just learning or education as people might perceive it, but like personal development, meaning growing themselves. Because like what you just said, it's about mental support. The mental and emotional game in business and in property and working with numbers, and when things go wrong, is probably more important than the physical aspect of the buildings.
You learn like anybody. You learn far more when something goes wrong than you do when it goes right. Far more. And if you can remain authentic, genuine, decent, honest, and not be a bullshitter. I get so many people, not so many, I get people that say, hi John, I've done this, I've done that, I've done the other. I come away from the meeting feeling depressed. I thought, what have I done in 40 years compared to these guys? And then you get to know him a bit more, and so-and-so, he always shows off. He hasn't done half what he says. So when people, and I think that's important, because when you go to these these property club meetings and they're all spouting on how much they've done and what they've done, you find out they've done it with about 6 other people together or whatever. So don't ever be depressed or think, oh, they've done a lot better than me. What am I doing wrong? Because most of the time, people are bullshitting you. Just be confident in yourself with your ability, and don't worry about what someone else has made, or even when you buy a deal. I tell a story about a deal that I did in Birmingham in 1992 when we bought 3 tower blocks, and the guy had bought 2 of the tower blocks for 75,000 each 6 months earlier, and we gave him 1.55 million for them. And I tell that story because if you're confident about your ability and what you're going to do with those, and there was 280 flats in these 2 blocks, then why worry about what someone else has paid? It's irrelevant what someone else has paid. And I get someone saying, oh, you know, the someone who just bought that for so-and-so, who cares? Good luck to them. If I can make the right profit I want to make, why should I care about what anyone else has made out of the deal before me? I'm not interested. All I'm interested in is what I can do with my ability.
You lead it on to a good point, John, because people get hooked in by the whole, you know, this much money, that, and this, and by the way, you know, I got hooked in by that. Yeah, but then, and this is what we love about, you know, our community and the Real Life Tribe, being able to actually, people come in because they get hooked into this whole financial gain aspect, and that's good, and it needs to happen. It must happen because it frees the mind up, not just your time, so you can do what you want, but also your mind. So, you know, because people are so adamant about paying the bills, you know, they're too blind to see any other way of living. Yeah, so once it frees the mind up, then they can actually go ahead and pursue, and they get more fulfillment and more passion, and actually pay more attention in their relationship, and some people get into spirituality, and, you know, it's a vast subject, and, you know, sometimes people think it's a bit woo-woo, but you know, it creates more experience.
What does woo-woo mean?
Woo-woo, crazy.
Oh, right, okay.
Something that don't exist, something that's a little bit woo-woo.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then so that's one side of it.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is a winnable game if you're gonna develop all aspects, because, you know, the mission of Real Life is to design, create, and deliver the most life transformational experiences, coaching, and training, so we can assist people to live the 5 freedom: financial, physical, because that's super important, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Yeah, it's only when you kind of combine these and you discover and develop all of these that you really start to go through this business journey, the entrepreneur journey, with fulfillment. You know, because if you want to go into big deal, I know that you have had lots of development personally yourself as a being when you do those deals, like 27 million pounds worth of development. You know, you couldn't sit in a school or a classroom or listen to audios all day long to learn what's required. But like you said, and no disrespect to any professionals, but when you sat in that room of professionals and only one guy put his hand up and say, I'm going to be the developer, all of these people, they know what to do. They know how to put it together. They just don't do what they
don't do it because sometimes you know, there's a number of reasons why people don't want to become entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's because they're qualified and they've got a very good job and they don't want to risk what they've got. You know, I've got a business partner who's retiring actually after 30 odd years. He's an accountant. Well, you know, he's worried about crossing the road most of the time. So as a combination, we've been a great combination, because I'm the forward pushy one, if you like, drive the business forward. He's like saying, okay, John, you know, you just explain why that works, and if it works, we do it, and if it doesn't, if I've missed something, we don't do it. And that having that anchor, if you like, is quite important as well, Mark. So, you know, there's a balance with this. There is a balance with it. You know, it's like having it's like having a football manager and an assistant. If you're both the same, you've got a problem. If you're both a bit easygoing and weak as the football manager and your assistant is, that's not going to work. One of you needs to be the tough guy, and one of you needs to put an arm around them and say, well, you know, he's only doing it for your own good. He's, you know, and support. So, and it's the same in any. If you've got a partner, it is useful, but make sure you don't have the same skill set. You want different skill set. You know, one might be the financial, sorting out the finances. The other might be the one finding the deals, which is how I've always done with my partners over the years and my joint venture partners. I tend to be the one out there doing the deals, and then they're tidying up behind me, if you like. So, but you know, when you meet the right person, the right partner, and by the way, when you meet a good partner, you know, you don't have to go on holiday with them. You don't need to be out for dinner every night with them. You know, you just need to respect them and make sure you respect each other. You don't need to be living in each other's pockets. In fact, it's best if you don't. You can be a great business partner, but it doesn't mean you have to be a social partner, you know, socially out all the time together as well. In fact, I would suggest you don't.
You said that a few times.
Yeah, well, funny enough, it's not a lot of fun with an accountant anyway, to be fair. No disrespect to the accountants on the event tonight, by the way. They're very useful.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. But again, we've had many accountants. In fact, one of the very successful people in our community, he is an accountant, and he still is. Running.
Yeah, if they have that ability, I think that accountant has the ability to go all the way because they've got that financial understanding. If they've got that, a lot of them are very cautious by their nature because they're trained to be cautious. But if they can break loose from that cautiousness, if you like, if that's a word, then they have got. I always believe they've got the full ammo with them. They've got everything. They've got the financial ability. They've got the experience. They've got financially. They've got the whole game.
So I'm going to ask some very cutthroat questions in a minute. So people are going to love this. So you need to make sure you tag some more people because 2 reasons. Number one, they're going to get the answers to this. Yeah. Also, what we got here? We got this. We got a couple of prizes. We got some prizes to give away to you. So first of all, you got to share this on your timeline to qualify for this to be picked, and you got to tag 10 people. So do that very quickly. If you're watching this now, do that very quickly. Then you're going to be in a chance to win some real life merchandise, whatever that may be. Some very useful things, very practical things, should I say, as well. And also you got to put in. So start guessing now. What chain of hotel is John staying in right now? Yeah. And if you guess, then he's going to give 3 of his books, all 3 of his books that is written about buying at auctions, about property developing for, what is it called?
Advanced. Yeah.
And then an advanced one as well. Yeah. So you can read the advanced one first and then go to the newcomers. You understand it better. Yeah, so get doing that now. Oh, this guy's going to go crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, we got it. Yeah, people need to do that. So, okay, so get some questions. John, if you were to break it down into some overall sections of the of a big 8-figure property deal, I'm not talking about going into the nitty-gritty here, but the big overall categories that you must have those advisors and those areas covered.
Okay. Well, the first thing is you want to work out just generally whether the deal works or not. So the first thing you need to know is, let's just suggest you're building a block of 10 flats or 20 flats, just say. So the first thing you want to know is how big is it? What's the square footage of it? Once you know the square footage, you can work everything else out from the square footage. You can work out what they're worth resold per square foot. You can work out what it will cost to build per square foot. And once you've got those 2 figures, you can work out what you should be paying for it per square foot. So that's all you really need. And once you know that, and you know it works in principle, then you need
John, have you got the numbers on your predicted per square foot build cost and what it finally costs for those 150 flats?
Yeah. So I work in square feet. Everyone younger and better looking, like Mark, works in square meters. So, but you can soon, it's about 10.5, the difference, 10 point whatever. So times 10. So square footage wise, if you're building I'm looking to build 133 flats shortly in Birmingham. And the build cost on that is coming out at around, it's 12 stories high. The building costs are coming around at about £200 per foot, £200 per foot. Okay. Now on that, the resales are 400 allegedly for about £400 a foot. So that way, at £400 a foot, which is about 36 million quid or something on this particular one, you should have enough margin. If it's £200 a foot to build it and it's £400 a foot to resell it, then you can afford to pay probably £70 equivalent to £70 a foot to buy it. Yeah. And still make 35% profit. So what do I need to do that deal? I need a planning consultant to start with, to advise on what is possible planning wise. I need a good architect. I then need a cost consultant. Somebody's going to work out it's going to cost £200 a foot to build. Yeah. So he's going to analyze all the costs and so on, so on, so on. Then I need a structural engineer to make sure it won't fall down. Yeah. And then I need.
Is that what they're for?
Then I need a nice hotel, 5-star hotel to stay in, unlike tonight because everywhere's closed. Then I need a good agent. He's going to tell me what they can sell for. Yeah. And once I've got that, then I need a building surveyor who's going to do a schedule of works, so they analyze the plans and they write down what the plans, what you see, they write down. So you know how many doors to buy, how many door handles, how many this, how many that, how many that. And then a builder, contractor, because don't forget, when you're doing a bigger scheme, they don't like being called builders. They like being called contractors. And if you call them builders, they get the hump. So the contractor or contractors, because you'll then go out to tender for the work. So each contractor needs to be tendering on the same basis. So they get the full package. Now to put a tender package together on a scheme like that is probably, I'm guessing at the moment, probably 40, 50,000 pounds, because there's a lot of work. You know, it's a big, thick, you can imagine, for 133 flats. But that's what we have to do. So by the time you get to, ready to actually build it, you've probably spent, 300,000 quid, 300,000 quid on legals and all the professionals. And then you've got all the professionals going forward to oversee the project, making sure it's done on time, checking the work, dealing with any issues and problems that come up, and dealing with the contractor, because these contractors aren't pussycats. If they can see a problem, if they can see a mistake you've made, they will be on you like a ton of bricks. So if they see that they could charge you more for something because you've made a mistake, that your advisors have made a mistake, that can bankrupt you. So you need to. That's another reason why you need the best people you can find.
You know what, John? What I love about all of that, it's just crammed in to 2 or 3 minutes. So now what I'm interested in.
Simple business, Mark. It's not complicated.
So answer me this, John. Do you have these figures off the top of your head? So you know how you've just predicted what's going to happen with your Birmingham deal? Yeah. Yeah. So what was the pre-build cost for your Ipswich one? And what did it turn out being? Was it over?
So this is how things can change. So with Ipswich, we spent 27 million. It came in on time and on budget, which is very rare. It might be something to do with the fact that we had the most expensive consultant we've ever used before and a really good contractor. But when we started looking at that project, the build cost was about 23.5 million. Between agreeing the deal and getting on site, we had Brexit, which caused a problem because materials went up something like 20%. 70% materials come from Europe. Yeah. 70% building materials come from Europe. And now this is another problem this year people are going to have. If you haven't costed your job in yet, remember, during this year, Jewsons are anticipating that build costs, materials are going to go up 12% this year. So remember that when you're looking at deals. Just remember that, because it's important. So the deal went from 23.56 million to eventually 26.2. Then we had Grenfell, so we had to upgrade one or two, not much to be fair, but some of the things. So that put another 500,000 quid on the job. So remember, whatever you have to do when you've got 150 flats, whatever it is timed 150 times. So that's what, on bigger deals, that's what you've got to remember. It's only 400 quid to sort that problem out in that flat. Yeah, but times that by 150, it's a lot of money. Yeah. So that's what you got to remember. So we've done quite well with the deal. We haven't made as much as we thought we'd do, but that's the reason why you need to make sure you've got a good big margin to start with. Because if things go slightly wrong, you're still okay. You're still making good money. And that's why don't do that. If it's too tight to start with, Mark, and something goes wrong, you've had it.
Yeah, and that's why you got to keep going though. That's why you're onto your next,
Absolutely.
that's why you're onto
You've got to
the
keep-
next deal.
You've got to keep believing, and and things will go wrong. Things will. I mean, we owned that 3 years before we did it, which is obviously a problem. And there's a number of reasons why we owned it for so long before we did it. But at the end of the day, you've just got to make sure there's a big enough margin in it that if things don't go right, and by the way, we've sold them for more than we thought, which has helped. So that's countered it a bit. But I mean, you just have to work out a big enough margin. So if it starts to go wrong, if it goes wrong, doesn't work quite so well, you still got a good profit.
Yeah.
When people say to me, Mark, oh, there's 12.5% profit in this deal, do you know what I do? I tear it up and put it in the bin. If they say there's 30% net profit in it after all costs and everything, I read it.
Yeah. So you just reminded us of something, because you're sharing some good stuff here, and I think.
Thank you. You're paying me to do so.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think sometimes people misunderstand this whole line, whether there is a line or not, between people getting a bit upset. Like you said, if I speak to someone and they say, "Oh, I did this and I did that," makes me feel a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Don't listen. It doesn't matter what anybody. I mean, listen to them, but it doesn't matter what anybody else has done. Some people, they say, "Oh, nobody ever shares the stuff that goes wrong online."
All you ever hear.
But here's the fine line, John.
What it's like, Mark. It's like a gambler. A gambler will only tell you when he's won.
But here, true. But also, you know what I like to then pose as a question, because I'd say it as it is. I know you say it as it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell people all the stuff we went wrong. I told we were just about to sell a house and we didn't even have build control sign off. We had to go rip stuff back and all of this silly stuff. Yeah. The builder left it to us. We left it to the builder. That's what happens. Yeah. So I don't mind telling people, but then there's also the other side. What are people expecting to see, breakdown, crying, being miserable because of it? Because number one, that's not me. I'm not saying that's everyone. Some people do that. But if people are saying, "Oh, only show good stuff, but don't show the other stuff," I don't see people coming on and just saying, "My life's shit" in general. So like, if people are not going to sit there complaining and saying, "Oh, look how shit my life is," then why would someone say that about, "Oh, hey, look at all these shit mistakes that I made"?
Well, the first thing I always say, Mark, in my seminars and bits, if you're coming here thinking you're never ever going to make a mistake because I'm talking to you and helping you, you're going to be disappointed, because there are things that happen in a property deal sometimes that are beyond your control. For instance, COVID is a prime example of that. So there's things that happen. Doesn't matter how good you are. I don't care whether you're Richard Branson or whoever you are. Everyone who's been an entrepreneur or been a property developer or whatever has had a disaster of some sort. They've had a problem where they've lost money. But the thing is not to lose confidence because of that. It happens to everyone. It might happen, hopefully, once in 5 years to me. Hopefully it won't happen ever again to me. But it will, it does happen, and you have to be realistic about that and
help people have the confidence. There's a saying where someone like you, John, you've been around, you've done a lot, you've got a lot of experience. So what would you say, or like, what do you say to people? There's a saying that says, like, you could sit there and point yourself and say, "Hey, if I can do it."
Yeah, well, that's the word. To be honest with you, you're right. If most people, property developing and investing is not a difficult job. It's made more difficult sometimes by people that aren't straight talkers, and they make out it's more complicated because they can earn more money out of you that way by telling you need 5 years training, or you don't. You need some training. You need some support. We all need help. We all need to be sociable. We all need to have support, mental and physical support sometimes, and the rest of it in any deal, in any development. But remember, you are the captain. You are driving it. You're driving the sales with the agent. The agents look to you, the estate agents. The solicitor looks to you to make decisions. The builder looks to you to give them the job. All these people are looking to you. You are the captain of the ship. So stand up, be proud about it, and walk the walk, because at the end of the day, all those people around you aren't doing what you can do. That's why they're working for you and you're not working for them.
Awesome. So I got another question I got to ask you before I do that. I got to do some announcements because we got a couple of winners and they are separate winners.
Yay.
I've been told the information has been what do they say on the lottery? Verified, Eurofied, whatever it is. Yeah, and all that good stuff. So we got that. But also, based on what you're just saying there, I always say, you know, not many people say this. I can't teach you nothing. Zero. I will teach you nothing. And it's come down to two things. Number one, some people say that experience is the best teacher. The actual fact is experience is the only teacher. There is no one's going to teach you nothing. You can gain insight, which then allows you to go and create a better experience. That's true. But you can't teach nothing. And I always say, I'm not here to tell you, teach you, or give you insight of what to do when everything's going hunky-dory. No.
Exactly.
I'm here to teach you what to do when it goes wrong.
Spot on.
That's exactly what I say. So let's please, I'm going to get some last words from you, unless you want to say something now.
Well, I was just going to say that you know, when you learn to drive and you have someone sat next to you all the time, you know, the day you pass your test and you drive that car on your own, you learn more that day about the traffic and the road, and you gain more confidence that day in driving than at any other time. And it's similar, you know, you can have as much support and help and much training as possible, but at the end of the day, and we all know people that that's all they ever do is have training, never actually buy anything. Mark, don't we were talking about earlier? But actually, at some point, you've got to get off the pot and actually get on and do it and learn to a point you should go. But you know, still have your advisors to make sure you don't make those mistakes that they might have made when they first started. And that's important.
Yeah, and I tell you what, for those people that really do want an experience and actually to experience getting results, finding deals, honing strategy, what area to invest in, raising investor finance, then I highly recommend you click the link what's in this thing right here, or go to reallifepropertysecretsexposed.com, because that is where we actually get people to do the work right there. John, we put people in the field, and they're doing it. So then they have all that time for it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Right there while we're there to support them, put them through it. You know, the last program we did, I just told you before, but for these people listening, we do this exercise where we raise investor finance, like what you do. You invest in people's deals, right? So we did this exercise, 40 minutes, so about 100 people there, and we raised £1.2 million. That was in the exercise. I know people have done so much more afterwards, but that was just in the 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If someone wants a piece of that, go check that link out. Look at all the details on that website. So here we go, John. Listen up. So the person that you are going to be sending the books to, we'll hook you up with the details, but you must still be on here, is Claudette Johnson. So if you're on here, Claudette, then put it in here. Yeah, come on, Claudette. Good job. You're going to have...
and Mark, if you email me the address, I will personally post the books tomorrow morning. How's that? Can't get better than that, can you? Excellent.
Superb. And then the winner of the merchandise is Aon Homes. I'm guessing that is like, you know... That's not your name, right? Or maybe it is. Yeah, Aon Homes. Yeah, but you got to comment. You got to let us know you're still on it. Yeah, Claudia, and there you go, Claudette.
Well done, Claudia. Congratulations.
You are confirmed. That's good. So we just wait for that. So while we wait for that to come through, John, I've got to ask you, because all Real Life Tribers, they're going on to a mastermind that happens every single... Yeah, Aon Homes, good job. You're the winner. You'll be in contact. You'll be able to pick your merchandise. So, guys, John, this is for the people, because there's a question that I want to ask you. And what it comes down to is we can never, ever, ever forget to let people know that they must do the right thing for the right reasons. Now, why is that, John?
Well, you need to do the right thing for the right reasons. You caught me out in the last one you did last time I was on live as well, I think. And you've got to do the right thing for the right reasons, because if you do it for the wrong reasons, do you know what? It never really works. It never really works. So you've got to do the right things for the right reasons at the right time, because timing, don't forget, is everything. Because if you hit the market wrong, when the market's about to drop 30%, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're not going to survive it.
Oh, dear. That's it. So you've got to say it one. You got John. I love it because I like to get people's perspective on why doing the right thing is so important. So can you say this for us? Because we have a saying in our community that you got to do the right thing for the right reason, because it's the only way that you'll discover your true potential. Can you say it? Can you say that for us, John?
Right reason, right. Say it again. It's the right what?
Right thing for the right reason.
To reach your full potential. And but what you're saying there, Mark, is right, isn't it? You do have to do that.
Yeah,
You do have to do that. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, look, so let's put it in there. It's the only way to discover your true potential. John, you've been amazing. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Mark. I look forward to seeing you soon. You take care.
Definitely. Thank you guys for watching. You guys who won the prize is awesome. Anybody else has got any questions, make sure you put a hashtag replay so we know you watch it on the replay. Until next time, do the right thing for the right reasons, as John said, because it's the only way to discover your true potential.